After countless media outlets throughout this whole week have been reporting that Lawson will be dropped by Red Bull, it has finally happened. Yuki Tsunoda will be driving for Red Bull in Japan and onwards. And so in today's video, I'm going to give my thoughts on the whole situation and the good and bad things for both drivers in the scenario we are in right now. Well, straight off the bat, my opinion for all of this is very much I was Team Yuki at the beginning, and I'm happy Yuki Tsunoda will be getting that Red Bull seat, but I think I share an opinion that is quite popular in the fact that Liam Lawson, 2 races, Australia wet, China sprint race chaos. It's way too early to be doing this to someone like Liam Lawson, technically a rookie. It's very harsh on Liam Lawson. However, like I mentioned, I don't even think he should have been put in that situation to begin with. But that is my opinion on it all. Let's go over, because I like being an optimist, on what is good for each driver. So we'll start off with Yuki Tsunoda. And first of all, it's good for him because of what Red Bull is. Now, I know it might be a little bit cursed, that second seat. However, it technically is a huge word here, is a promotion. Now, I know a lot of people think it'd still be just better driving in racing bulls. We're about to find out exactly how that's going to pay out. But it is a promotion. And realistically, like I mentioned on my first video talking about this whole situation about a few months ago, Yuki Tsunoda doesn't really have anywhere else to go. This was only the career trajectory he kind of has, bar Aston Martin reserve driver for 2026, if all of this doesn't pan out. So it's good for getting Yuki Tsunoda into a better position in the Red Bull family. Home Grand Prix hype will be absolutely immaculate for Yuki Tsunoda. So yeah, for Yuki Tsunoda, those are all the good things for him. Now hopefully he can just perform. And even Liam Lawson, to an extent, this is a good move for him. A lot less pressure on him right now. Once he's in the racing ball again, we know Hadjar can perform there. We know Lawson can bloody perform there. He was performing there at the end of 2024. Because I know people like to say he's not a rookie and all of this. He's not even raced in half a season of F1. Give him just a full season in that racing bull. Let him get used to being an F1 full time and then maybe push him. They pushed him way too early, put way too much pressure on him, and now that pressure has been lifted. He doesn't need to perform as much, and I actually think now because of that he's going to perform better. And like we've seen, Gasly, Albon, etc. Kvyat, it's not the end of the world if you get dropped by Red Bull. There is plenty of opportunities elsewhere, potentially on the grid. And also, it's not over for that Red Bull spot. Now, none of them ever re-got that Red Bull position. But this is quite different because 2 races basically is you were never in Red Bull. You basically use it as a clean slate. Then the second point is it gives him plenty of time to recover, because this would definitely have knocked Liam Lawson's confidence. Those 2 races were appalling. And considering how much he was, chatting about Perez, about Tsunoda, about everyone who could have got that Red Bull seat, no surprise he kind of buckled under it all. So now, again, like I mentioned, give him the season in Racing Bull. See what he can do. See what he can do head-to-head against Hadjar. Or, what they're probably going to do, put Hadjar in that seat. It really does feel like they've just got, a pistol revolver sort of thing, gone Russian roulette style, flipped it, gone blindly, shooting, and just hoping one sticks. I mean, even if Hadjar, they put him in summer and it did end up working, my God, that is not how you work an academy. Now, I know, yes, they do get a lot more experience than other academy drivers do. A lot of F2 drivers don't get in, such as Dragovic. I mean, Nick de Vries almost didn't, and then he did, and then he kind of showed why he shouldn't have. But getting back to my point, those are all the good things for Liam Lawson. It isn't all bad for him. Genuinely, I think, yes, it's embarrassing for him. It's shameful from Red Bull to do it so early on. However, this could end up being the best thing for his career. And then finally in this video, like I mentioned, I'm going to keep it nice and short. We'll talk about the bad things for each driver. And for Yuki Tsunoda, of course, it's the curse. When has that second Red Bull seat ever been good? Bar 2021, Checo. 2022, he was decent as well. And I mean, 2023, he was all right for the first half of the season. Perez really is the only example I can use for most of his time there that was pretty decent. And now, to be fair, looking back at it, maybe it's because, I haven't watched it in a while and I'm like, oh, it couldn't have been that bad. I don't remember Albon and Gasly being as bad as we've got right now. So are we calling, like, how bad is this situation? I mean, we'll figure out exactly when Yuki Tsunoda, what he does in qualifying. I mean, if he still gets knocked out of Q1, then we know it's wraps. That car is definitely, I mean, I still instantly think it's definitely built for Verstappen. They've pretty much said that. If Yuki Tsunoda can't even drive it, no one's going to be able to drive that car bar Verstappen. So he's got to be careful of that cursed seat. Second of all, the pressure's now all on him. Lawson, like I mentioned, pressure off. Yuki Tsunoda, very much full on. I'm very scared for him. I sort of mentioned it in the good things about the hype for his home Grand Prix. But then it also means there's so much pressure. I'm so worried for him. Yuki Tsunoda he's the guy. But that Red Bull second seat pressure just seems to be able to get every single person it touches. And then finally for Yuki Tsunoda, what is bad about this is, yes, he's getting that promotion, which technically is where his career was trying to go towards. But this situation is worse than if Liam Lawson didn't perform. If Yuki Tsunoda does not perform, he is not a rookie in F1 like Hadjar and technically Lawson. He is an experienced driver who they are going to be expecting at least top 10 results from, I think. I mean, maybe they'll just be happy with a top 15. I don't really know what their expectations are for Yuki Tsunoda at the minute. I think it's just don't be last from what we've seen with Lawson. But Yuki Tsunoda, he's had a few more years, and I genuinely do worry if it doesn't work out for him, they might do that whole thing of just completely getting rid of him and then having Hadjar and Lindblad in VCarb / Racing Bulls, or rotate those three, including Lawson, in that Red Bull seat. Because Yuki Tsunoda, he doesn't have that rookie element to him. He should be where he is, and if he isn't, Red Bull could let him go, which means we could be seeing him, if he does not perform, out of F1 even earlier than we predicted. However, what's better? To have your chance and fail, or to never have your chance and be like sitting there at VCarb Racing Bulls for the next 2-3 years rotting away? I think the Red Bull scenario still is the better option, even if it ends up being a failure. And then finally, for Lawson, I think of only two things that are bad in this situation for him. Obviously, he's lost a big time seat, and the reason it's so big is because I mentioned this before, Gasly, Albon, they've had brilliant careers so far in F1, but they've never made it back to Red Bull. So can Lawson make it back to Red Bull? No one has done that since. Not even Ricciardo could do that. So I do worry for the fact that, you know, the trend is saying he's never getting that Red Bull seat again, and if he wants a good seat, he's got to look elsewhere. But that is it for him. I genuinely do think, past the embarrassment, there is a lot of good things that we can look for in Liam Lawson. So hopefully he just stays clear of the media, you know, keeps to himself, gets a few decent results in that Racing Bulls. We know it's quite a rapid car. It can get top 10 results. Let's see him do that in Japan, hit back. Hopefully then Red Bull don't go, okay, we're doing an instant switch again, because then his confidence is just going to go straight back down again. But knowing Red Bull, they could easily do that. But that is it for today's video. Those are the good and bad things I can think of for both Yuki and Lawson, and of course I've given my opinion about it all. It's such a weird situation. I didn't think I'd be making a video again on Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson for quite a while. I did think the first swap would potentially be Doohan and Colapinto, and I mean, my god, that's not even out of the situation. I mean, there's rumours spiralling around that Colapinto could be going into the Racing Bulls. There's a whole hullabaloo. Unless it's confirmed by F1, I try to stay, you know, in the know of it. But I don't try to, you know, moving in silence, just being like, okay, that's cool. Let's wait for confirmation. But what a mess it is over at Red Bull. But anyway, this has been quite a nice and chilled video. I hope you enjoyed me yapping in your ear about Formula 1 for another video. And hey, if you like what you see, like and subscribe. I will be doing more videos. Next week, I'll be here on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And of course, my F1 Fantasy live streams for all of you who love F1 Fantasy over on FanAmp, normally an hour before the deadline. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. See you all later. Take care. Hello everyone, quickly before I end the video as well, editor Zach here, and basically since I've been making this video, I thought I'd do a little section on the F1 Fantasy, as the F1 Fantasy prices for both the new assets have come out. Yuki Tsunoda 16.8 million, basically around the same price we thought it would be, and Lawson at 8.4. Now, Liam Lawson at 8.4, I'm definitely going nowhere near, considering what we think the price changes are going to be. Well, realistically, I'm not going to be going anywhere near both of them, especially for the first weekend, because we don't know how either of them are going to perform in their new cars. Plus, price-wise, it doesn't really make sense. But Yuki Tsunoda is going to have a brilliant weekend to go up 0.6 million, so I want to steer clear of him just for now, and the same goes for Liam Lawson. Now, they're still better than anyone who's had a DNF in your team. However, it's just such a big risk that I think, unless in FP2, Yuki Tsunoda's like in the top 3 and looks immaculate, yeah, I wouldn't be going anywhere near, because realistically, Tsunoda's the driver that I'd be swapping out Piastri or Norris for, or if you have just about enough money for, maybe having Piastri and Tsunoda. But again, I think I'm still just focusing on budget for Japan, and so with that in my head, Yuki Tsunoda still doesn't fit into my plan. However, I'm excited to see how many people do pick Tsunoda or Lawson, as at the minute Tsunoda's got 0%, but Lawson's got 1%, meaning some teams have actually already confirmed to have him in, so some people have a lot of faith. But anyway, I'll be talking about this a lot more over on my Fan Amp preview, which I believe could be coming out around Sunday or Monday. I'm not too sure, but we'll have it out quite soon. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I thought I'd give you a little update on all of that. Take care, everyone.